Okay, yes. So I was saying, if you go to biocoherence.net and you click on Learn, there is this new Summit tab that will bring you to the full Summit 25 videos. And you can watch them directly on our website. We will probably add some transcripts and maybe tag some of the videos, especially the one from the workshops, so that they can be found in our FAQ. Because, you know, if you go back to the weekly Q&A, I'm a little late on it because we are on 42, but all the videos that are here are tagged, so you can ask a question here or in the app and just type a question, and it will lead you to a list of different timestamps in the different videos, so you can get a preview of what the answer will be. And if you click here, you will see the video from our weekly webinar directly at the right place, so it's faster. And what was I saying just before that? Someone help me. Blog on updates. So you can register for the Summit 26. Yes, sorry. I don't think I've put a link on it, but if you go to biocoherence.net/research, I have to put a link on the bottom of the page. This is a new research hub that I will use to publish all studies that we will do ourselves, so studies on biocoherence. The first one is the one that I presented last Sunday with Dan Winter, which is Manifold 12, the geometry of mind and matter. And it is now published, so it has a DOY, and you can read it online if you want. And the video should be quite interesting because it's more lively than just reading a scientific paper. I came across this. So it makes a synthesis of a lot of things that I'm working on since maybe 30 years. But it makes sense in the context of biocoherence because it explains why we could get such effects with biocoherence, what are ELFIs. So there's a bit of theory inside, and towards the ends, yes, how to change your reality. That one is interesting. So your ability to steer across different thinking spaces and to change things according to the petal state. This is directly linked to the petal state in biocoherence, which is interesting. And towards the end, a lot of interesting conclusions. Nice. Some ELFI values, and this is quite interesting, where the different degrees of freedom of different people, including human augmented, and then the degrees of freedom that you will gain by using biocoherence. So the different
that was very cool.
Yeah, the different sectors that are expanded by biocoherence, and you can see that now with the harmonizer coming, we really have a full spectrum change across all 12 dimensions of this.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
Sorry?
Can you explain that again? Like, what do these circles mean?
It's a polar graph of the 12 dimensions of my theory. So we have 7 dimensions of physical, which are 3 dimensions of space, like usually. 3 dimensions of time. So basically physical time, experience time, and agency time. And 1 dimension of scale, which is the ELFI. And then you have 7 dimensions of thinking. So 3 dimensions of thinking space, which you find in biocoherence, attention, intention, horizon. 1 dimension of time for the thoughts, which I called awareness depth, and 1 dimension of scale, which I call awareness breadth. And all of this makes these 12 dimensions that are mapped on these polar graphs. And so, for instance, a spirit would have no physical dimension, but a lot of things in scale and thinking dimensions. a human will have a little physical action, but a lot of in thinking and awareness too. An animal will have not a lot on the awareness side, especially not in the agency. So this is a kind of way to see how we can move in this world if we have actually a body in 12 dimensions. It's really interesting. I'm looking forward to the conference to be published so that you can see it. I hope it will be done. Garrett is back, I think, this week in the US, and he should do the editing for the conference. But well, the conference was fast, Steve, no? I had to speed run it in 1 hour, so I was talking even faster than usual, I think.
And you were very funny in that one. That was your one of Dan Winter was awesome. That was a great one. I loved the circle thing and how you put it together and how BioCoherence can help fill that circle up. That was,
yeah,
I thought that was great.
Yeah. So the link is biocoherence.net/research. That's for cat. Yeah.
So when it says download all or download the Manifold 12, what is all? Is there more?
No idea. All what? In this page?
Yeah.
I see only download, so I don't know.
I went on to it and it tells me I'm at the Zendo.org.
Yeah.
And-
I see only one button here, maybe download under files.
Oh, wow.
I don't see download all.
I got download.
Anyway, if you click here or if you get download, there is only one file anyway. So if you see download all, I think you can just take everything.
Okay. All right. I did download already. Okay, good.
Okay, so a little bit of reading. Another interesting thing, in the latest beta, you can start trying that if you want, but it's still a little bit experimental. But one very interesting guy published this week an AI model that he informed with something like 2 million documents on everything alternative medicine, and only alternative medicine. And I tried it, and it's very good if you're interested into alternative answers outside a little bit of the official science dogma. So we still have all the usual AI helpers that are a modified version of OpenAI, so a general version of ChatGPT. That we use with the API and on a special deal with OpenAI so that they don't store the data on their servers. So we are using it through our own servers, and they are not storing data. But this new one, which is called Enoch, will be operated on our own server. So we can guarantee 100% privacy. The drawback is that, of course, it's a bit slower than the other ones. So we limited a little bit the size of the answers. Otherwise, it can just think for 5 minutes before giving you something. But it's pretty good. So I can actually maybe show you. I'm not sure. I will try and show you. And maybe we can. So does that work? Yes. Cool. Okay. So if I go to the AI helpers, so if you want to try it, you have to go to settings and check everything experimental that could break the system and so on. It's your own responsibility. So you have test Enoch. That is only available in the latest update. And this one is, let's just try it. Explain essential oils. Explain. And you will see it's a bit long because it's actually booting on my own computer because I'm still developing it. And we are setting up something for that. So you're welcome to try it. Just don't overload it and don't use only this one because it will actually run on a computer that is in my office. And it's only available on the beta, of course. it's receiving information like the other ones. So it's receiving a part of your exploration data or something like that. And we are currently optimizing the answers so that it's as efficient as the other ones. So now it started generating things. So we could start seeing something here. Yes. And by the way, you see that in the latest updates, you have as on ChatGPT, it starts showing the answers while it is generating it, which are in fact pretty complicated, but it's streaming the answers. So you don't have to wait for the whole message to be generated. You will see the message appearing as when it is computed. So use it especially if you need answers that are outside of the classical realm of medical literature, because this one has been informed with a lot of alternative things, and it can be very interesting. But as you can see, it's pretty long. It's pretty slow still. You will get the same. No, okay, it's finished. You will get the same on the so. In the latest update, you will get the same in the other AI helpers, which is streaming the answers. So if you ask any other AI helper, and let's go to this one, which will be much quicker. So show me a special blend of essential oils for a good night sleep. And it will be quick, but you should see it streaming. Yes, you see, it's coming bit by bit while it's computing. So you see, these one are still much quicker. But I think it's nice in this latest version that you can see the message actually progress like you do when you use ChatGPT. And that's it. What do you think? Is it better? Yeah. Cool, because it was complicated. No, we actually have to. Sorry, yes.
Knowing that it spins,
Yes.
because it's fun for me before, and I'm just like, okay, I don't get an answer, and I just would stop it.
Yeah.
So knowing that I just have to wait like 5 minutes, maybe.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know how patient I am, but I'll.
No, not 5 minutes. This one has been generated in 1 minute, but with the current version, you have to wait for the whole message to be computed before. Sorry, I'm still.
Well, and it is adding to the harmonics, which it wasn't before. So I appreciate that.
Yes, there are some new functions in the AI helpers. One of the new function is that also that once you start building a program with an AI helper, it can actually transfer you to a stimulus helper towards the end, and it can say, "Hey, if you want, I can give you to this or this AI helper," and you click on it, and you actually change room and go to another that can help you by adding some new stimuli.
Yeah, I like that.
Stimuli or stimuli? What do you say?
Stimuli?
Stimuli. Okay, I got it. Regarding stimuli, but I think I've shown you last week, we have a lot of new stimuli, especially on pathogens, DNA. And did I show you that last week? Yes, I think you were asking for it for animals, pathogens, and so on.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So we can work on it. But just know that we still have to add a stimuli specialist for all these pathogens, because these are new categories. So we'll add some new AI. And if you want to install the latest version and go to settings and check everything experimental, you will have access to this new AI. And maybe you can try it and see if the answers are especially much better than before for alternative knowledge you can ask. If this is the case and you really love it, I would have to install a much more powerful server so that it streams faster. But it's a lot of investment and so on. So just try it and tell me if it's really good.
I had a client that had that was just diagnosed with diverticulitis.
Yeah.
And he had been listening to the frequencies and it was showing up in the frequencies. Now, how often he was actually listening to them, I don't know. But when I went into the AI and looked, it added stuff to help with the infection and the inflammation.
Okay.
It was helpful for me.
Okay, cool.
And added it to it. So it wasn't doing that before. So I found it to be helpful. And that was just in the last couple of days. And I've upgraded. So.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so all of these are the classical AI helpers that are very quick to answer. I was just saying about the new Enoch AI helper that is slower, but that is really specialized on alternative medicine. So use this one only if you want some answers outside of the medical corpus, because it's really well informed with something like 2 million different sources in alternative medicine, everything alternative.
And you called it Enoch?
It's called Enoch, yeah.
Nice.
So there is only one Enoch for now in the AI helpers, so it's a general use. If it's good and we start using it, we would have to set up a specific server for it so that it's faster, and then we can maybe do some Enoch specialists so that we can include it. Again, it's a special corpus of information that has been included in it. So use it when you need this special corpus of alternative facts, alternative medicines.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Is there something else I wanted to share with you? We've just published a new update on iOS and Android for some people having Zoom problems with the app. I noticed that last week. So it's another list of small fixes. One interesting fix in the latest update is some Bluetooth connection enhancement, and I sincerely hope that the problems when you record and suddenly the record stops are something from the past now, and it would really be nice, I think.
Yeah.
So if this is the case, please just update to the latest version and tell us that no recording is a breeze and everything works fine and you never have any problem with the app anymore. And that will make my day. We also have added something nice when you have a lot of sensors in the room, like we had, for instance, in the summit. I've added proximity detection to the connection page, which gives you an information on how close the sensor is to your actual device. So the closest the sensor, the biggest it will be on screen, and the first in the list. So you just put the sensor close to your smartphone or computer, and it will be front and center big, the one that is close to your computer, and the other ones in the room will be smaller and farther. So that makes it much easier to select the sensor that you actually want to work with. So yes, recording, dropping, and stopping is really a big one, I think. One thing you didn't see, Michael, it was in the summit, I'm not sure I spoke about it, is that we can now use the sensor as a standalone recording device. It means that you can start recording, not connecting to the app, okay? It will record. And you record for 2 minutes, and you don't connect to the app, okay? And then when you stop, you just connect to the app and you click on import under your client. And instead of importing only from the Apple Watch, which was the case before, you can now choose to import from the Apple Watch or from the sensor. And it will connect to the sensor by Bluetooth only at that moment, list you the dates and times of all the recordings. And so usually you want the one from 5 minutes before. You click on it and you import it as if you were recording it in the app. So it's actually very interesting because you could do recordings without having the problem to open the app and starting a new recording and so on. So just do something impulsively on the fly, or maybe put a sensor in your waiting room. And when people come in, you have a little paper to say, okay, put your fingers here and do a 2-minute recording. And when they come to your office, you just have to download it and start analyzing. So that opens some new possibilities that could be interesting. And all the other news are for the next version, which will be called not version 2, but version 26, because we deserve it. What do you think? So next version is the new interface, all these new harmonizer programs, a lot of fixes and new functions. We really have a lot of new things because the latest update was a little bit more than 1 month ago. So you can imagine that in the last months, we did a lot of things that will be included in V2, including visualization and so on. So we still have to make everything stable for this V26. But I hope to release it sometimes in October or towards in November. Any question on your side? Yes.
I have an interesting question for all of you guys. Because when I do evaluation, I have a result, and in the result, I have if I go to prevalence, I have this beautiful flower color with the different colors and the number in the middle. And my understanding is that the number in the middle is like a concentration of all data which we have.
Yes.
And I noticed that people who had, for example, 44% a little bit on the low level. And yesterday I had a client who had 60%, which I think is pretty good.
Yeah.
So I like to hear from everybody of you, what was your lowest number and the highest number, so that I get an impression about what the range means. For example, my understanding is that 50 is what most people have.
Yes. Yes, we tried to say something around. Oh no, not here. Sorry. We tried to not this one too. I have to take, for instance, organs maybe. Okay, so this one is 62, for instance.
Because I noticed that many clients asked, "Oh, what is this number?" You know.
Yes.
It's the general information about all the information we gathered.
Yeah, 67. So yes. So this is what I call the integral coherence score. So this number in the center of the flower, which takes into account everything that you see here on the screen. So the first level is energy. The second order analysis is agitation. The third order of analysis is quality. So my 3 dimensions here, which are attention, intention, horizon. The mind cycles don't go into the number because we didn't score a cycle, but it could be something maybe with very long cycles or very short cycles. But right now it's not into it. But the links quality come into this number too. So the reach, for instance, which means how many other structures you are resonating with in this family. The strengths and the threads, which are the number of links that you can reach. So, for instance, this tooth, receives energy for a lot and sends energy to other. And all of this comes into an algorithm that will give you a number between 0 and 100 here. And 100 being the absolute best and 0 being the absolute worst. Sometimes we have some surprising results, like you can have something that is pretty tired on the flower, but with good links, so good potential to evolve, and an integral coherence score that is not so bad, even if the biomarker by itself seems to be in a low energetic state. Because it has a lot of links, for instance, it will render the score up. But usually when you have high scores in the 70s or 80s, it means you are in resource state.
But my question is where you would say under which number I mean, normally you're at 40, below 40, there's a pink, no, this is not the number, but the number, if you're below 40, it's low energy in general. I would say it's an unstable situation. Is this correct?
Yes, below 40 would be starting to be a bit worrying.
Okay. Like when TJ did his wife, when she was actively dying,
yes,
she was like 30s, 40s.
Yes.
And yeah.
I would say 30, 40 starts to be really worrying. Maybe we should have expanded a little bit more the scale because I didn't see a lot of coherence scores under 30 in all the experiences I have. But one of the projects I've shown you a few months ago and I didn't pursue yet was to have some norms for every value that we have into BioCoherence. And we actually can compute them from everything that is shared on the cloud to make some deep learning on it and to see for each biomarker what are the average values that we have. And so we've seen it would give us something as a bell curve, with the norm for everybody and the 95% where everybody is. And so if you are outside of this 95%, it means that you are really, really outside of the norm. And so at one point when we have computed these norms, we could add under the biomarker panel a kind of bell curve to tell you where you are according to the norm. But it would be interesting if we have different norms, not one norm to fit everybody, but if we have different norms, like a norm for women in their 50s, for instance, or a norm for sports people or something like that. So you know me, I like to make things complicated but easy to use. So the information we have, the better, right? Because you could also have people from Europe and what their norm is compared to Americans, because so that's exactly what I want to do. So at first I could maybe compute some kind of general norm, but then I want to do some subgroups like that. But I would think it would really make sense to compare your norms to a specific subgroup that you belong to, because it will give you some more hints on how you compare to a norm. And of course, a norm has a lot of drawbacks, and you should not compare everything related to a norm. But I think you, as a pro, it can give you some hints on, and maybe in the prevalence screen that you love, Michael, we can add a list of biomarkers that are really outside the norm, for instance, because it will give you some hints on where to look first. And maybe even it could come into the integral coherence score at the end to stress the fact that some of the biomarkers are really outside the norm, and this one would be probably interesting to check.
But I think you can already do it because I noticed on my vacation, if you go below evaluation, you have every biomarker listed compared to his norm area where it is. So if I go there, I can see, okay, most of the organisms are down because they have to be down, otherwise you would be dead. And then there are some who are very high. For example, one of mine was 97.
Yes.
And that's very good because then you can look up the organisms who are powerful, and you have to check them, not the one who are below a certain level.
So yes,
I found that it's amazing. It's really good.
You can more or less dig into the results and find them in prevalence, or maybe find them in causal chain, because you know that in causal chain things are organized around in the same way as on the flower. So low energy, high energy, low agitation, high agitation, And so you can also see how they compare in the causal chain. So all of this gives you some information, but this new norms data would really come from a computing of everything we know from the cloud recordings and give you some hints on data that you currently don't have, because it would compare to a lot of different people, not only you recording. And that might be interesting.
Thank you.
I have a. Do you mind if I share my screen quick, Maverick?
No, please.
This is so that I took Anton took a scan for me before using the Phi-Ray and after.
Okay.
And I didn't think, like, it went from 54 to 57, but what Anton pointed out, that overall I went from learning to a resource after.
Yes, that's probably the most important thing.
Phi-Ray.
Yes. So before you were, yes. So that's interesting, because 54 here is it's the global coherence score. So it takes all of your biomarkers, and you were in learning state and almost none in resource. You had a little bit rather on the top, so high energy, but high agitation too. And after the Phi-Ray, interestingly, the global coherence score didn't change that much, but you were much more on the resource side and much less agitated, which is very good. So it shows that the coherence score changes a lot between 50 and 60, especially the ones that you see on this global flower, because this shows an aggregate of everything that happens in your system. So yes, I don't know, having the global coherence score move a lot seems to be a lot of work. And maybe it would be interesting to see on the long term if we can get some consistent results, even if it's 2 or 3 points at a time. I think many individual organs can move faster, but your global harmony will probably move slower.
Okay.
Yes, but it's interesting.
I did, and I don't know if this is the appropriate, but on my app, I put it in the chat.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah. Very strange. Okay, did we activate something for you? I don't know. I'll check what you have. Okay, I have an idea. Yeah, I'll check that.
It's on my computer as well.
Okay, I'll check that for you. And one of the idea with the norms was, I think it's Christoph from Germany that had this idea to have a kind of weather forecast for the global humanity, and use this norm that we would compute every day, for instance, and we should see some things moving across all the recordings that are shared on the cloud. And we could see maybe some fluctuations on certain biomarkers or in the general way. And it would give us a kind of general forecast of humanity that we can measure. So it might also be something interesting. Yes, Leon?
So Heart Math Institute and the Schumann resonance people, the people that do the Schumann resonance,
yes,
the real-time upload of the human global consciousness.
Yes.
And what's interesting about that is you see these like peaks and troughs. Well, again, I have no idea whether that would happen with us, but the whole point is if we have like the data running, maybe every hour it posts or every half an hour, we can start to see a map. Is there a coherence with certain times? Is it mapping to the meridians? So for example, one of the things that you always talk about is, if you were perfectly in sync, your organs would map to the Chinese clock.
Yeah.
We can map that out. If you've got the data, well, you do have the data.
Yes, true.
You can map that out easily,
Yeah.
That'd be quite cool.
Yeah. So it could be an interesting development.
I think it would work well with Stephen's thing as well, with Stephen's project.
Yes.
It seems to be, that would seem to be a good way in which BioCoherence could support or, showcase how it could support Stephen's thing as well.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Okay.
Oh, that was it.
Anything else from you? So for once, we might stop in advance. Okay.
Medicine, we're all going about what's wrong, but it's really just an imbalance of the whole. And that biocoherence is approaching all aspects of the whole. And we can look at these different parts and allow it to kind of self-regulate by giving us the right kind of things that are in there. And
Thank you, Jeff. That's what I was trying to say. Thank you.
that's what's so special about this versus all of our other protocols, from other apps and other ways of looking at the picture. But looking at the terrain, I think is the first thing is when I talk to somebody, I go, well, what do you seek? Where do you want to go? What is the those two questions? What do you seek and where do you want to go? Are really kind of important things to ask a client, is because why are you here, number one, and number two is where do you want to go? And if they don't know, maybe we have some answers by seeing those kind of scans to help nudge them in directions to find the balance.
Right.
We don't have the answers. They do. There's self-healing that has to happen. It's not me fixing somebody. It's me helping them fix themselves because they have found either mental or emotional or physical imbalance that is put them out of the wave of harmony. And so something's keeping them locked in a position or whatever. And this is a way to bring them back into regulation. And that's what the good stuff of all these frequencies and stuff can do, is because we can see the pattern, and the AI bots that we have so many can help us find our way back into homeostasis, I think. So.
Yeah. And what you said earlier about what biocoherence can bring you is also very interesting. That was inspiring.
That's what I'm seeing. So I find it as truth. So, and it's evolving and getting better every time you're doing upgrades. And it gets a little frustrating for us out here, in the woods. But, I've seen the progress, since last Christmas when I first started looking into it. And it's really having enough time. I haven't had all the time to really dig into it, like Michael and TJ and Laura have, but I've been gradually accumulating some of the wisdom that helps me better understand how it works and finding how it can work for me to help people. And so it's just trying to keep up with everything. And the whole conference, I think, was so exciting because now I can go back over those videos and learn from everybody who is doing presenting. And I look forward to seeing more of those kind of things. Like Michael is such an expert at understanding where to go, and while he was talking, I was looking at my prevalence and to see what was going on, because I've had some teeth issues and stuff. And I'm going, okay, you go to the emotion, what's up with the teeth, you can't, you're not chewing whatever's happening and stuff. And TJ had teeth problems before he left. And so we were all kind of laughing about that because there's so much in the mouth. Any root canals or infections, there's so many bacteria that come in from all of that. And to be able to look on the screen and say, sure enough, there it is. My teeth are popping up, and it's kind of telling me where it is. And I mean, we can't get that out of the dentist. They have no clue. They just want to drill, and that's just cutting into an infection. It's not healing the problem of the imbalance, what caused it. And then that's what the cool stuff of the frequency healing is we're creating the kind of frequencies to get things back into balance so that doesn't happen. And I looked at that many years ago as, again, back to terrain, is what is the pH? you know? So
Yeah.
looking at the pH of your saliva and your urine and stuff like that at different times of the day, because when you're super acid, you're going to have more bacteria, but they're there trying to put it back in balance. You know, so what are you doing to cause that? And it's usually kind of long term. And we have to educate people to know that this isn't a quick fix. This is helping you to gradually get yourself back in. And the 21-day program is an excellent way to explain that to people. Would you be willing to commit to
exactly.
a month of really doing something about it? Because you didn't get it in a month, but you know, unless it was an accident or something, you know. So
and that's what you get with the causal chain too. And I think all those very good modules that came in the last months will be explained in much more detail in the coming year, because we have people like Michael, as you said, that are starting to design courses around BioCoherence to share their knowledge. And we want to set up the training center inside the app or our website. That will take form in the coming times, a month or a year, I don't know, where every knowledgeable person can just share their knowledge with the other BioCoherence users. And as you said, it's becoming more and more features, but my goal is to make easier and easier to understand. And then, of course, you have to dig and to go deeper into each feature. But it's hard to make something that is both as rich as everything that we have in BioCoherence, and that should be easy to understand and with simple concepts in terms of usability. You know? But we will get there. No, but it's a challenge to, because most of these expert systems are really complicated to use. I mean, if you want to design a plane, you have to undergo 6 months or 1 year of training on CATIA or any 3D program that has a lot of features. And if you look into BioCoherence, we have many things that are as complicated as you can find in this kind of programs. But I try to show it more like a game, like an advanced game, rather than a very complicated tool that has a big learning curve. Even if, of course, we have a learning curve, it's unavoidable. Okay. Thank you, everything. Thank you, everyone. Maybe we'll stop here for today. And we'll come up with some new news next week, and probably more people online, because they won't be in the planes back from the summit.
it'll give me some time to go over all those videos too.
Yes, sure. So biocoherence.net/summit or /summit25, and you will have a lot of things to catch up